这杯珍珠奶茶大概是外国朋友最熟悉的台湾饮料。不过，除了珍珠奶茶之外，还有哪些台湾食物值得推荐给外国朋友呢？是花生猪血糕、麻辣臭豆腐，还是凤梨口味的披萨？
Taiwan is an immigrant society. Over 400 years, people from different regions came. It stimulates variety and integration, which influenced the island to become the place of the most variable food culture. We are also good at inventing classic dishes of other cultures, such as the Thai taste moon shrimp cake, Chinese taste beef noodle, and the General Tso's chicken. These are actually invented by Taiwanese people.
All made in Taiwan!
Greetings everyone, I'm Zheng Guowei. I'm a science communicator who loves asking questions. On this episode of Taiwan Keywords, my friend and food scholar Hu Chuan'an and I will begin the journey from 400 years old dish of Netherlands, try the most special Taiwanese gourmet, and get to know Taiwan from the food table.
台南在台湾称为府城，这也是400年前荷兰人跟汉人移居台湾最早的聚集地之一，也是台湾小吃文化最丰富的城市。早上一碗热腾腾的虱目鱼咸粥，是每个台南人早上必吃的早点。
哇，上来了，哦，
这个
土托，哎，
这真的只有台南吃得到这样。
对，其实这个咸粥的最重要的灵魂就在于它的那个汤头。哇，它汤头最重要的，它是一般都是鲜甜，然后它会熬很久。南部的粥它比较粒粒分明，北部的广东粥它会煮的比较烂，煮的比较久一点。但既然它跟汤饭又不大一样，汤饭它基本上就是饭跟汤，而粥的话它是一定要煮。
Milkfish isn't only the most beloved local ingredient, it is also loved throughout the Asian countries. It is even called the national fish in the Philippines. Taiwan has a long agricultural history of the milkfish. The record can be dated back in the Dutch Formosa.
这里是台南的安平古堡，400年前荷兰人所兴建的热兰遮城。虱目鱼就是17世纪时荷兰人殖民台湾时所引进的，这点从当年留下来的热兰遮城日记还可以看到相关记录。
On Volume 2, it documented a journal of a fish farm in 1647, and the word oinei appeared. Researcher Jia Ying Wong verified that oinei actually means the fish farm in Taiwanese Hokkien. Usually, it is located at the estuary or along the sea. It's a type of enclosed dam to breed the fishes. On history of Zhuo County of 1717, it was written that ruler Zheng Jin was crazy about fish, which then Taiwanese people called the emperor fish. So milkfish was already in Taiwan 400 years ago.
台湾人所熟悉的虱目鱼，大家经常吃的虱目鱼呢，大家以前一般认为是从荷兰人引进来台湾的。因为我的历史学家有发现，在荷兰其实有养殖虱目鱼的习惯，然后这个习惯呢，在跟台南的是一样的。可是最近有学者已经提出来，就是以前其实台湾的这些汉人移民或是南岛语族，他因为长期跟东南亚或是跟福建还有东南亚这些地方有连结，所以也有可能比荷兰人之前再早500年，台湾人就有在吃虱目鱼的习惯，这是以前大家所没有想到的。
Keelung Temple Market, known as the #1 night market in Taiwan. Each booth has a pot full of delicious food.
庙口是许多台湾小吃的诞生地。台湾是一个移民社会，早期的移民聚落都以庙口为中心。大家把绳子安坐之后，就在庙口摆起了摊子，形成一个聚落饮食的市集。哇，曹老师，这地方好热闹啊！可不可以给我们介绍一下？这是一个夜市吗？还是一个什么样的地方？
它其实有的都称呼它为夜市哦，其实它是一个整天都开着这样哦，24小时都有，全年无休这样。
哦，全年无休。
基隆的移民最多的族群是福建的漳州人，那他们漳州人来这里，首先就会建立一个庙哦，那他们的香炉神就是叫做开漳圣王庙，这个庙就会慢慢就会形成这里的信仰中心，也是他们的社交的东西，对不对哦？ 然后慢慢的开始就会有人，比如说挑着担子来这里卖小吃之类，然后大家就会形成一个小吃区，我们叫做庙口小吃。哦，
老师，我光是走进来，然后听你刚才这样介绍，我就已经流口水，很饿，很想吃东西了。我们第一家要去哪里吃？
我就带你们到这里最早的可能在日本时代就创始的店叫天一香这样。
天一香，
天下第一香。
天下第一香的卤肉饭。
天一香这个名字是这个电气宫的庙公帮他取的。
Many Taiwanese dishes are imported, but braised pork rice is purely local oriented. The slow-cooked pork skin and fat becomes the soul food of Taiwan, corresponding the thrifty character of the early agricultural society. Tianyixiang braised pork rice at the night market is a family business for more than a century, over 4 generations. It is the representative braised pork rice in Taiwan.
哇，就这边了。
对，
天一香，
天下第一香，每个人心中都有一碗卤肉饭，在全台湾，因为每个人认为好吃的观点都不一样。
那这家应该算是老师心中排名比较高的，对吧？
这家是我最喜欢的。
Since Keelung is the earliest modern port in Taiwan, people from many countries have been visiting Keelung. The span built 400 years ago. France and Qin had a battle here. After Keelung Port was built in the Japanese colonial era as an international port, it brought cargoes and cultures from overseas.
哦，就是这一家。哦，基隆的名产天妇罗。哦，老师，我们现在来到这家，名字就是天妇罗，基隆庙口天妇罗。甜不辣。听到这个甜不辣就知道是日本时代。
是。
对。
那这里是比较早年的天妇罗，他们是用鱼浆去炸的。
对，你看坐下来就在这个摊位前面，还可以听到那个炸的吱吱作响的声音。
它的名称就叫做基隆庙口天妇罗。
对，没有别的可以取代这样。
只属一家，对。
哇，这个一定刚炸出来，马上吃一口。
是刚炸出来的时候是最好吃的。
Around Keelung Temple, every booth has its own taste. It's like a United Nations for street food. The Zhangzhou people's believe the different braised pork rice from south and north, tempura from Japanese colonial, all merged as a perfect collage of Taiwanese flavors.
在1949年之前，台湾人其实不太吃牛肉，而让台湾人开始吃牛肉的其中一个关键，其实就是这一碟沙茶酱。
这家店叫做老西门，它其实是非常有名哦，因为它是历经了3代传承。你们都没有吃过吗？
今天我是第一次来，但是我很好奇，为什么老师你会写一本关于沙茶的书？您是用历史学家的眼光来看出这个东西？
我们是用饮食考察的角度，
饮食考察的角度，就觉得说，我想要了解这件事情。
对，就会觉得说，沙茶竟然是跟汕头有关系，那这个其实是我不了解的一个范围，所以就觉得，这个 what's a topic？
Sacha is a must-have seasoning in Taiwan. Sacha hot pot can also be seen all over Taiwan. Tracing back the source of Sacha sauce, we can know the history between Taiwan and the world, telling a story of our own migrant ancestors.
来，我来上一下今天的汤。今天的汤我会选2种，一种是传统的清汤，这是扁鱼的；另外一种就是拉萨，跟外面的不一样。
比如说扁鱼嘛，是，然后这个是
拉萨，
我认为是沙茶的起源，然后从马来西亚这边过来的。
然后马来西亚，所以它是从马来西亚到汕头，再到台湾高雄。
是的。
There's a direct lineage between Sacha and Sadeh. Sadeh refers to grilled kebab in Indonesian. The close trade activities between Chaoshan people and Southeast Asia during the Ming and Qing dynasties brought the production method of Sadeh to Fujian and Chaoshan. And after combining with local ingredients, here is the Sacha we know today. Chaoshan people are referred as Oriental Jewish people. Following the retreat of the government to Taiwan after war, they also brought in the Sacha cuisine to Taiwan and eventually changed the food culture here. The combo of Sacha and beef became the new flavor of Taiwanese cuisine.
今天的主角牛肉，事实上原本那时候我祖父来这边的时候，台湾人是不太吃牛肉的，那所以事实上是台湾后来有一些外省族群来了以后，才开始慢慢有吃这些牛肉的习惯。
所以可以说是有沙茶，所以才带起了吃牛肉这件事情。
其实沙茶是在这个整个大环境变迁当中一个很重要的因素。
然后龙岗这边在那个中立、平镇跟八德的交界，那本来这里是三不管地带，那三不管地带后来有一些他们就把滇缅的异域孤军大概七八千人就安置在这里，然后所以这里7、8千人他们就开始把他们家里的自己的一些东西拿出来卖，所以这里看得到很多滇缅的料理啦，或者滇缅的香料，所以这里的族群就异常的纷杂。那在大概我们现在很多新移民进来了以后，
哇，各种摊子。
对，我说你看这里也有越南、印尼、缅甸，
不同时间段的移民都汇聚在这里，
都汇聚在一起。
哎，这边竟然有一座清真寺，蛮大的样子。
而且里面这个清真寺的，我是说它的形制其实蛮完整的，然后礼拜堂啊这些都有。那本来是为了那个就是滇缅孤军来有回族，然后在这边设了一个清真寺，让他们有一个可以礼拜的地方。
对。
然后我们其实看这个门口，这也是一个，你看这竟然在清真寺门口卖猪脚。
这边竟然有一家老街猪脚，
对，老街万家猪脚。那可是说台湾，我觉得这就是台湾多元包容的地方，在清真寺门口可以卖猪脚，
这倒是没想过这种情况。
你不管吃什么，信不同的宗教，你只要相互尊重，你不管你本来出生哪里，不同的宗教在这里都可以得到，在一个新的土地上获得一个新的发展。
1949, the year Chinese Civil War ended. The KMT government brought 2 million people to immigrate to Taiwan across the strait. The migration wave of the century had also brought in food culture from all over China. And the Myanmar Yunnan army was the last to come because they were fighting as guerrilla on the boundaries. In 1954, over 6,000 people evacuated to Taiwan and took root in their new home. They rolled out their sleeves and cooked their best dishes, set up small business in the alleys. These had made Longgang the kitchen of ethnic diversity, and it was famous of the gourmet rice noodles, the specialty of Myanmar Yunnan. There are over 100 rice noodles restaurants here. Rice noodles originate from Yunnan. It can be found in China, Myanmar, and Pur City on the border between China and Laos. Ame, a little girl who grew up in the mountain valley, came to Taiwan with the army and launched her business here. The restaurant is called Ame Rice Noodle.
其实我们整个家族回到台湾，是我的祖父民国43年，就是异域孤军第一次撤台回到中正新村。对，那我爸爸在那边打仗过程当中认识了我母亲，我母亲是一个傈僳族，金三角的一个特有的少数民族。对，所以我们那时候中正新村就超级热闹，然后什么烤香肠什么都来了，没有？妈妈就觉得说，那来做个米干卖卖看，对。所以1981年，妈妈就带着我们在门口，因为那时候店面还是我们的住家，所以呢就在门口做一个小摊摊，做之后就已经没有收，一直到今天。对。
Ame insists on handmaking the rice noodle, and she had been doing it for over 40 years. The broth is made from the bones of black pigs. Although it was originated from Yunnan, but the noodle is made from Taiwan's Jailai rice. Pork is from local too. Now it's a Taiwanese food.
我觉得我们家傈僳族嘛，对啊，我们家傈僳族的口味稍微会比较清爽一点。好，那我们很会用一个香料叫草果。刚煮米干的时候，那个最后下的那一瓢的油就是草果油。好，那个草果就是一种很悠长的香气，它可能很解腻去腥啊什么，但又隐隐约约的一个香气，我觉得，所以我们常说我们这个是流浪的味道。
The army once lingered between the nation's boundaries, but after moving to Longgang, their lives improved. Pork liver, egg flakes, fried eggs were added to the noodle. The nutritious and rich broth is the feedback to the starving memories, and the call toward food and warmth. Nowadays, Longgang rice noodle differs from the Yunnan's. It's a new fusion food born on the land of Taiwan. Upon entering the Yes Health Park, the massive factory reminds me of a science park. But entering the factory, you don't see trips on the production line. Instead, it's all hydroponic leaf vegetables of all kinds. As United Nations promoting sustainable development, World Economic Forums selected the world's most promising companies for 2022. 100 of them are technology pioneers. The only company from Taiwan to be selected is the Yes Health from Taoyuan, fresh vegetables with a daily production of 1,100 kilograms. Here, it produces more than 1,000 kilograms of fresh vegetables every day. It also exports its technology to China and other countries. It is the most promising indicator of Taiwan's agriculture.
蔬菜或许不需要土壤，人却离不开这块土地。数百年来，不同的族群带来不同的食物，让台湾的餐桌上弥漫着多元文化的气味。台湾的食物景观夹杂着人文与科技、传统与未来，就这样层层叠叠地融合在这片土地上。